Try to mix some speeds, but also just has a rise curve and drop ball too that she's going to lean heavily on.
First pitch to Coleman, grounded to short. Williams is there, throw to first, save. Coleman beats it out, vintage Jada Coleman. And the Sooners get on with a leadoff infield hit to start the game.
This is one of the things that Jada Coleman does so well. She can hit the ball pretty far, but not only that, she runs the bases really fast, a lot of speed down the line. It's tough when you've got somebody that can square it up, hit it deep, and then not only that, run the bases too.
Now the freshman Ella Parker takes ball one. It has been an electric atmosphere. People were waiting in line all the way to the outfield pregame. There's not a seat to be found inside. There's not a seat to be found in the outfield. As Oklahoma playing for the first time here at the UCF softball complex. This series had been sold out since the start at the beginning of the year. 1-0, Parker flies to left, and the ball is not handled, and the Sooners will have multiple runners on base, second and third, right off the bat. We'll see how they score that ball play there. But the Knights not coming up with a big defensive play there by Kotzelnick.
Well, and right off the bat, Ella Parker being a lefty, she's going to hit this ball kind of in off the hands, and then it's going to tail down the line. But Stormy Kotzelnick should know that, too. She's kind of the same, hitting from the left side. Tough play all around, but one that if you're Coach Ball Malone, you want to make that play.
Had a good depth there as Coach Ball Malone is going to come out here. Of course, this Knights team at senior weekend, 11 seniors. You wonder, though, there's a lot of hoopla. It's Oklahoma with Jada Cody catching. Knights 8th in the country in fielding percentage, 978, but that was their 29th error on the season as a team as Stormy Kotzelnick rolled with an error. Tiari Jennings at the plate. Talked about all what she's accomplished in her legendary career here at Oklahoma. In the mix for the National Player of the Year, takes ball 2-0 the count to Jennings, who's going to be a 4-time All-American in about a month. On the verge of many milestones, including 2 RBIs away from 300 in her career. She fouls that pitch off. She would become the 6th player in the history of Division I softball to hit 300 career RBIs in a career. Remarkable.
I love that too, Eric, because it's just such a testament to the body of work that these athletes accomplish throughout their careers. Consistent greatness, so hard to achieve.
Felton delivers inside, 3-1 the count. If you're Felton, you got to kind of stay poised. Really, you could argue could have had 2 outs already. An infield ground out and then the air in the outfield.
And sometimes this kind of stuff happens, but you see Felton trying to work the zone here, not trying to give Jennings anything over the wide of the plate.
Jennings takes a walk and they're loaded right off the bat. So an infield hit, an error, and a walk. And they're loaded here in the first. Kinsey Hansen will come to the plate. The 2-time All-American, the reigning Johnny Bench Award winner from last year. Grad senior steps in. Look at her numbers. First pitch, swings away, fouls it off down the right side. Count is 0-1.
And you look at the pressure that the Sooner offense is able to put on their opponent, and right now they're just so good because they put balls in play. They challenge opposing pitchers to have to come in the zone, and they don't strike out much.
The 0-1, Hansen hits it to center. Rowe, does she come up with it? She does. The throw is airmailed, and that's going to get a throw home, and she's out. Parker is thrown out at home plate on the throw by Cody with Doherty covering home plate.
The minds
Tom
of the
Myers,
umpires.
the crew chief, stays with the call. It's an out. Not conclusive enough, Alex, to overturn it. And so the Knights get an out of it. So big out Knights defensively to cut off that runner at home plate. 1 run did score on the sac fly by Hansen. Or are they going to say that she trapped it? So they ruled it a trap? Okay. So they did rule it a trap, not a catch. So it's still 1 out, but they did get a runner out. So second and third, 1 out. And Pickering drops a base hit into the left field. That's going to get 1 run, and Gassa will send Hansen. She will score It's a 2 RBI hit, and Oklahoma now up 3-0 here in the first. Cassidy Pickering, the freshman from Humboldt, Texas, who was named to the top 25 freshman of the year finalist, delivers.
And Pickering just going the other way again. A lot of success on the opposite side of the field. The Sooners just hammering the outfield right now. Easily coming in to score.
Ball's in the dirt to Alyssa Brito, the senior from California. 15th in the nation in home runs with 15. 41st in the country with 46 RBIs. Hits with a runner at first and 1 out. Felton delivers, and that's fouled off. Couple of UCF errors here, Alex. Uncharacteristic. Top 10 in fielding percentage. Defense letting him down with Kotzelnick not able to get the ball in left field, and then Rowe on the throw to the backstop cost him a base there. So 2 errors for UCF in that inning. Brito. It's high for a ball.
And you hear Coach Bear talk all the time about just taking care of the softball, trying to play good fundamental softball and making the routine plays. That's obviously what we missed the first couple of batters here. But you can't really dwell on the mistakes. They're going to happen. How can we move forward and learn from them so we don't do it again?
Swing and a miss there, 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to count.
Great job by Felton, just trying to spin this ball up. She's going to need to try to work a lot of north and south right now, getting obviously a really potent Sooner offense.
2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3. Knights, if you're wondering, wearing the whites with the pink belts and socks, obviously for breast cancer awareness today for this game. In fact, Ashley Griffin's mom threw out the first pitch. It's the payoff pitch. That ball is hit to left. Kotzelnick goes back. It goes back and it's gone. Home run, Alyssa Brito with the 2-run homer, and Oklahoma extends the lead to 5-0. The lead now on Brito's 16th homer of the year.
Alyssa Brito, another player that has so much power. It's so tough, too, when you're facing an opponent that has so much pop 1 through 9. And not only that, Eric, they've got people on the bench that can come in and hit the long ball, too. So Brito doing a good job, just continuing to execute big moments.
Aided by a couple of UCF errors. Torres steps in with this Oklahoma offense. #1 in on-base, #1 in batting average, #1 in walks in the country. There's a pop-up foul on top of us. 2nd in the country in runs scored, 8.39 per game. 2nd in slugging at 681 in the country. It's a team that has hit a home run in 83% of their games this year. They've added to that today. 0-1 the count. Swing and a miss. So what does Sona got to do here to kind of settle things down here?
Well, you know your OU offense can hit pitches off the plate. So right now you're trying to more so get in their head, change velocities a lot better, because they're going to hit pitches around the zone even if you're not throwing them over the middle. So it's just kind of that cat and mouse game back and forth and trying to get them out of their plan.
The 0-2. High ball 1.
The other thing, though, when you have a pitcher like Sona, you don't want to try to overpower him, right? You've already got the velocity in your normal pitching, so just try to stick to that. Stick to what you tend to do and let your ball do all the work.
Sona, one of the seniors for the Knights. First came over from Cal in the dirt. In fact, she was on the Cal Bears team last year that made the NCAA regionals in Norman. It was a regional with Cal in Missouri. Of course, these two programs played in the Super Regionals in 2022, won by the Sooners. That was the Knights' first ever appearance in a Super Regional. 2-2. That's hit foul to the right side. We'll do it again. Of course, Patty Gasso, a 7-time national champion. In her 30th season, head coach, 1,498 wins, third most all-time in Division I softball history. 2 wins away from 1,500. Done it all in the sport, except coach here until now. First time she's been here at the Plex. We were talking to her this week. She was trying to remember if she ever been here. It's 2-2. A tie in 3-2, and I know for a fact because I've been here a while. She's not. Look at those numbers. 2 wins from 1,500. Feels good where her team is at right now. She feels the only thing that's been leaving runners on base. It feels really good where they're at right now. Thinking they're peaking at the right time. In uncharted territory, though, as she says, trying to go for a 4-peat, which has never been done before in college softball. So this is all brand new to her, brand new to the players. And so handling those expectations has been unique this year.
I was just going to say, can you imagine going through what they're going through? I mean, quite literally nobody has ever been in their shoes directly, and it's so tough. All the outside pressure. Obviously, they have a couple more losses this year than they have in the years past at this point in the season, but still, they're looking so good all the way around.
Pitch is fouled off her foot. Oklahoma 42-4. So look at the last pitch there.
Never feels good when you take a foul ball off the foot, whether it's just your foot, your ankle. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I've never been a fan of getting hit, so trying to shake it off a little bit.
But in our talks to Coach Gasso this week when we talked to her, Alex, I got a sense she's in good, feels really good where they're at. But it was interesting listening to her talk about, the scrutiny and all the, pressure that comes with as a college softball player nowadays where, oh my goodness, they drop a game. What's wrong? It's the end of the world when it really is not. 3-2. There's a ball. 4. And a walk to Torres here with 1 out.
And I think that's what's so tough is you have Coach Gasso going through these moments and conversations with these players that are dealing with a lot of unsolicited advice from people that just don't even know what they're going through at all, right? And I can't imagine how tough it is for her day in and day out, trying to lead them and stay confident as well.
Sydney Sanders now at the plate. Junior out of San Marcos, California. First baseman steps in, takes ball 1, 1-0 to count. Well, as you talked about, sometimes as a player, when you're feeling some pressure, you swing not to lose. I thought that was an interesting comment and things. And don't swing to lose, swing to win. Be aggressive. Boy, they've been out so far. They've gotten the message. The 1-0. It's low. Of course, the 7 national titles, 1 behind Mike Candrea, the legendary Arizona head coach who's won 8. Carol Hutchins is the all-time leader in wins with 1,700 wins. But we can now say that the 3 all-time winningest Division I head coaches have coached at least 1 game here at the complex. The 2-0. Sanders takes high 3-0. Mike Candrea coached his one and only time here in his last year in 2021 here. Hutch coached here many a times with Michigan would come here part of their Florida side.
Right. That's pretty incredible, Eric. I feel like I've gotten to cover so much great softball, so many legends in the game.
As you've learned this week, I've been around a while.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
601 games here.
Yeah,
this evening.
601.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sona's fallen behind here 3-0. Not what you want against this Oklahoma team. Number 1 in the country in walks. It's been part of their repertoire. 246 walks as a team, leading the nation, Oklahoma. They've added a couple in this inning. And that's been a big part of their offense this year. They have scored, of those walks, 37% of the runs have come via the walk. Runners that have gone on base via the walk have come around to score 37% of the time. The nation's average in that is 27, to give you an idea. 3-1. It's a strike, 3-2.
We talk so often about how you don't want to put people on base with freebies, right? The walks, the hit by pitches, make them earn it. They got to hit the ball to earn their way on base. But OU's offense as a whole, 1 through probably 14, just goes to show why walks are so dangerous for them.
Payoff pitch, foul back. Of course, JT Gasso, Patty's son, is the associate head coach. First year as the associate head coach. It's the brain trust around the offense for JT. Been on the staff now for 7 years, been part of a handful of national titles. There he is with the baseball cap. It's great to talk to him before the year. Knew this year would be a challenge. 3-2. Blooped into left. That'll go foul. Of course, JT and his other brother, DJ Gasso, who was the hitting coach in his first year at Arkansas. Part of the Gasso family. They were all at the World Series last year with DJ, who was the hitting coach for Utah when they got to the World Series. And JT told me one of the cool things of his moment was to see his brother at the World Series as a family sharing that. The 3-2 pitch from Sona. That's ball 4. Tom Meyer, the home plate umpire, has a unique. And it's 2 on, 1 out as the walk to Sanders.
And I think Sona a little bit confused too on that pitch and why it was called a ball, but you had Sanders kind of bending down, leaning down, trying to make it look a little bit higher than it was, and she got the call to go in her favor.
Riley Boone now to hit. Hitting .424 in Big 12 play, Riley Boone. Hitting in the 9th spot. 2 on, 1 out. There's a strike, and it's 0-1. Tom Myers, the home plate umpire, always has a unique strike zone. He's the crew chief with Kevin Condor at first. Steve Gold is the third base umpire. The 0-1. Swing and a miss by Boone as Sona's ahead 0-2.
If I was an umpire, I don't know if I would love you calling my zone unique.
That's just the word all around the street.
Hey, I like it. I would want consistent.
0-2. Outside ball 1. People have called me unique on my broadcast stuff, so you know.
You are unique, Eric.
Ball and 2 strikes to Boone. Of course, this is Oklahoma's last road series as a member of the Big 12. In fact, it's their last flight, more than likely, for the year. Sona delivers 1-2. Swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Sona as she gets Boone for the second out here in the first.
That's a big pitch from Sona, down and well out of the zone, off the plate, but Riley Boone gonna take the bait, swing through that pitch. That's a good placement from Sona. I don't know that I could say that she should live there, but good pitch.
So now Jada Coleman, who started this inning with an infield hit, that bang-bang play. He was going to be a big play at the time as Coleman takes a ball. The 3-time All-American, Coleman, .556 on base on the year, 4th in the nation in on base. She's ahead of the count 1-0 here with 2 on, 2 out. And that's fouled off. But after this weekend, Alex, Oklahoma will host Bedlam next weekend at Love Field, which could be the last time we see Bedlam as far as a regular season matchup, at least as conference rivals. They will be the last time, at least in the regular season. And then the Big 12 tournament will be in Oklahoma City, and then Oklahoma will likely be either the 1 or the 2 national seeds. So they will be in Norman for regionals and supers, and of course the World Series, if they get there, will be in Oklahoma City. Coleman lines one to left foul. So this is literally will be more than likely will be their last flight, and it's their last road series as members of the Big 12.
And this ball down the left field line from Coleman, barely getting foul. Just gonna go right outside the line. That would have been a big hit. A couple more ducks on a pond here for Jada Coleman. Second time through the order.
One and 2 the count to Coleman. Sona delivers. Jammed her, grounded to second. Aubrey will go to first in time to retire Coleman. And she delivers first pitch to Stormy Kotzelnick for a strike. Of course, Kelly Maxwell has been well documented. Legendary career at Oklahoma State. Transferred out, comes to Oklahoma, the rivals. That's going to be a big story next weekend in Norman. We'll let those folks deal with that. More importantly, like you mentioned, though, she's pitching back to that All-American level that's made her a Big 12 Pitcher of the Year candidate. There's a grounder to first. Sanders gets Kotzelnick for the first out here in the bottom of the first.
Well, the thing about Maxwell is she's going to stay down in the zone. She's able to work up and down for sure, and she can go east and west, but her drop ball down in the zone is going to be her key to success. So a lot of ground ball production here. So if you're UCF, you're trying to see the ball up.
There you see the number one defense in the country, Oklahoma, 985 fielding percentage with Boone, Coleman, and Pickering in the outfield as ball is hit foul by Sierra Humphreys. Hitting in the 2 spot. There's Kinsey Hansen behind the plate. Of course, Jennings at shortstop with Brito at third, Torres at second, Sanders at first. Oklahoma 985 fielding percentage, only 17 errors on the year for the Sooner defense. That's been kind of part of the Gasso package is their defense. It's been a trademark during this dynastic run as Humphreys, the freshman, who, for those that may not know or tuning in, of course, her older sister is KK Humphreys, who plays at Oregon. And her mom is Krista Humphreys, a 3-time national champion player at Arizona. In fact, Krista Humphreys was teammates with Jenny Dalton-Hill during that 3-time national title run, and Jenny Dalton-Hill was her maid of honor at Krista Humphreys' wedding. Did you know that?
I did not know that, no.
Of course, Jenny Dalton-Hill will be here Sunday calling the Oklahoma UCF game. I don't know if Krista Humphreys is here. But that could be a cool reunion with those two good friends. But certainly Humphreys, a talented freshman, part of the 16th highest recruiting class, signing freshman class of UCF softball this past year. As she swings and misses according to X-Rating softball. 2-2 the count to Humphreys. As you see Cindy Ball Malone in her 6th season. Trying to see if her offense can kind of chip away here as Humphreys chases one upstairs as Maxwell gets the strikeout for the second out here in the first inning.
And we said Kelly Maxwell's going to be able to work up in the zone. That one well out of the zone, but Sierra Humphreys going to fall victim to the pitch. It's a good job by Maxwell just trying to establish a wide zone right now, get in these UCF hitters' head.
Jada Cody checks her swing, fouls it to first base. Cody hitting .343, 5 homers, 24 RBIs for the all-time leader in doubles, second in home runs in a career, second in RBIs in a career. She's done it all at UCF. 37 homers, 171 RBIs, 183 runs, 441 total bases. One of 3 UCF players to reach over 400 total bases. Was an All-American in 2022, played on the U.S. national team in the summer, fall of 22 and 23. In fact, was teammates with Kelly Maxwell in the U.S. national team. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, and Maxwell ahead 1-2. In fact, Cindy Ball Malone has been Maxwell's pitching coach when Maxwell was on the under-19 U.S. national team as well as the recent U.S. national teams.
You see Maxwell just continuing to work off the plate, challenging these UCF hitters to stay disciplined.
Cody fouls it off to the right side.
But so far, they're taking the bait, Eric, and just kind of widening those strike zones up. And Coach Bob Malone said we've got to stick within ourselves. People like Jada Cody, the only person that ever gets Jada Cody out is Jada Cody, right? She's such a great hitter in the box, but she will kind of widen the zone sometimes, so just trying to stay within herself.
A 1-2 pitch from Maxwell. Cody up the middle, through, base hit. And a 2-out single by Jada Cody, getting that one over the head of Maxwell and past Jennings into center.
Love that piece of hitting from Jada Cody. We know Maxwell's going to be dominant down in the zone, but Cody does just enough to get that barrel on the ball, driving it right back up the middle. That's the key to success, too, trying to see pitches up to drop barrel well, but also got to let the pitch get deep in the hitting zone.
Cody now 3 for 5 in her career against Maxwell. UCF saw Kelly Maxwell last year in Stillwater when Maxwell was with the Cowgirls. First pitch is a strike, throw to first, Cody gets back. UCF played Maxwell at Oklahoma State last year in a Sunday game, part of a tournament in Stillwater. Maxwell got the win, went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, 9 strikeouts, 4 hits, 6 walks, just like in that ball game. The Oklahoma State won that game 9-4. As Chloe Evans takes a strike, and Chloe quickly down 0-2.
Not a bad take from Evans on that pitch. Definitely not a hitter strike that we think that we can do some damage with.
Chloe hits a nubbler to first. It'll go foul. Certainly want to give a shout out to Chloe's mom, Chloe's aunt, and Chloe's grandma. They were scheduled to be here tonight, but their flight had an 8-hour flight delay currently. They're stuck in Appleton, and they're not going to be here for this first game. Hopefully they make it back, of course, part of senior weekend. Such an important weekend for all the players and the seniors. The dad is here, though. With his vintage hat now. There's a grounder. Backhand is not handled by Torres. Cody going to third as she slides in there. And the Knights with a threat here in the first. First and third, 2 outs.
And good piece of hitting here from Chloe Evans. Gonna do just enough, trying to go on the backhand side of Torres over at second base. Can't come up with the play, but great base running from Jada Cody, advancing an additional 60 feet. You know, with 2 outs, Eric, the crack of the bat, you're gone.
So Ashley Griffin will come to the plate, who was the first UCF player to win Big 12 Player of the Week 2 weeks ago, the sophomore. Steps in, first and third, 2 out. Takes upstairs, ball 1. It's an error on Torres. 18th error of the year for Oklahoma defensively.
Pretty uncharacteristic from both sides of the field as well. Typically really good, solid.
There's a lot of juice in this stadium, and you wonder if that kind of rubs off as a player. Maybe you're too amped up. Could that be a factor sometimes?
Maybe, but I mean, you're still playing the game, right? And just trying to always kind of bring it back down to earth. I don't know about others, but I was always amped up playing. I was always nervous, so I always had those butterflies in my system. I don't know that the environment really changed it, because no matter the environment, I feel like I had those nerves and excitement.
Look at this, see that view there. It is packed everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Packed house here, sold out. It was sold out before the season started. It's one of the more anticipated series in the history of this program. Hosting the 3-time defending national champion Oklahoma Sooners on senior weekend. Most decorated senior class in Knights softball history against maybe the most decorated senior class in the history of college softball, as Patty Gasso, we were talking to her about this week with the Sooner seniors. Aubrey Evans, Griffin at the plate still, ahead on the count 3-0 with Cody at third, Chloe at first. There's a strike. Of course, Griffin, her mom threw out the first pitch. She's been with, of course, case with a history with the breast cancer. You see the Knights wearing their pink in honor of breast cancer awareness. The 3-1 to Griffin. Swing and a miss, and it's 3-2.
You see Kelly Maxwell getting behind in counts if these UCF hitters are just patient in the box. They're continuing to swing outside of their zone. I would challenge them to take a couple more pitches.
Griffin fouls it off
throughout these ABs, but I feel like it is, of course, easier said than done, right? Because you get in a 2-strike count and you're almost forced to swing the bat because you don't want the umpire to take the bat out of your hands and call a pitch around the zone. But that's why so early in the count, it's important to be on your game and not try to widen that strike zone.
Payoff pitch. Griffin hits a slow grounder to third. Brito is there. We'll throw to first to retire the side. Knights get a couple on.
But it would have been so much fun, Eric, with you in the booth. We always have really great dialogue, so I just feel like I always enjoy our time together.
You got to be in the booth with a Hall of Famer, Mark Daniels. He was Hall of Famer.
He was awesome. So very fortunate.
You showcased him to the Pooch Picks. He was. You were showing cats and everything.
And cows. We had a cow.
So, Ella Parker, freshman, to lead it off. It'll be Parker for the Sooners, followed by Jennings and Hanson, 2, 3, 4 here in the top of the second inning. Parker was named to the top 25 Freshman of the Year finalists. And with a great freshman season, her and Pickering. Coach Gasso excited about them as Parker delivers a single to center. You can see why Coach Gasso would be excited with players like Ella Parker, which is going to be the future leaders, as Coach Gasso described, for the Oklahoma program.
To come in the game, especially in the Sooner lineup, and make an impact like she is. Parker does a great job just staying so composed and quiet in the box, doesn't try to do too much, getting out of control. Nice and smooth right back up the middle. That's a good piece of hitting.
Tiari Jennings now at the plate. Walked in her first at bat. She takes for low for a ball. Look at her numbers there. Of course, she's friends and travel ball teammate with Samantha Ray from UCF. It's interesting how many connections there, even though these teams don't play. 1-0. Jennings gets it off the end of the bat, popped up third base. Charging in and against the net is Humphreys, who makes the catch. What a play by Humphreys as Jennings fouls out here in the second inning.
I love the aggression here from Humphreys, just immediately breaking into foul territory, going to go right at the fence. The grab, the timing, too, of them both, so good. And she was quick, but one of the things that I liked to hear most recently about Sierra Humphreys was how competitive and gritty she was. And of course, you already mentioned her mom and playing with Jenny Dalton-Hill at Arizona, but so good. And I feel like that runs in the family because they were joking of, oh yeah, she got that from her mom too.
Yeah. Coach Ball Malone, we talked to her, so that's why she's here.
Right.
She's a great competitor. 1-0 the count to Hanson. Who had the RBI single in front of Rowe back in the first inning. Johnny Bench Award winner last year, going to the best catcher in the country. Was on the U.S. World Games roster in 2022 in Birmingham when they won the gold. Coach Ball Malone was the assistant on that staff, with Heather Tarr, the head coach, Tim Walton, and Tony Baldwin on the staff. Hanson a big part of the Sooner run. Looking for a fourth straight national title. It's never been done before in college softball in Division I. 2-0. Hanson chops it foul. The count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Here to Hanson with Parker at first base and 1 out in the second inning. You see Cindy Ball Malone, of course, was the assistant on the under-19 U.S. national team, and of course the last couple of years on the U.S. staff. 22 and 23 was part of that World Championship gold in Birmingham in 2022. It's fouled off. Of course, Maxwell was on the teams. Montana Fouts. Look at the last pitch.
The foul balls off the body. So not fun, Eric. So not fun. But hey, they've got so much protection for that these days. We're blessed.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Sona goes inside, 3-2. How much did you wear equipment-wise?
I just wore stuff on my front arm. I had an elbow guard and a wrist guard, and that was it.
That's it? Nothing in the legs?
No, nothing in the legs. I don't feel like my swing was equipped to be fouling stuff off the front. I was never that early. I was always late.
Interesting. 3-2. Line base hit from Hanson. As Oklahoma now has 2 on, 1 out in the second inning. Hanson now 2 for 2.
We talk about driving the ball right back up the middle. Kinsey Hanson does a great job with this one, just so patient in the box. Again, we talk about overpowering and not trying to do too much damage over swinging, but Hanson's so under control.
Face Cassidy Pickering, the freshman out of Humboldt, Texas. With 2 on, 1 out. DeVoe, the senior, delivers. Of course, DeVoe pitched in that super regional when UCF played Oklahoma. So even though these two programs, this is only the 3rd all-time meeting between these two programs. They played in that super regional when UCF was the 16th seed. They won a regional here at home, beat Michigan. Low for a ball, 2-0. Played Oklahoma. That was Jocelyn Allo's senior year. Who just signed a 30-day contract with the Savannah Bananas.
That's so cool, right? The first woman to ever do that.
2-0. And that's missed. 3-0. The Savannah Bananas, that's baseball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're my baseball expert.
Yeah, right.
3-0 the count to Pickering. DeVoe. Outside ball 4 to walk to Pickering, and that loads the bases up. Of course, Jocelyn Allo, 122 career home runs, the all-time leader in NCAA Division I softball history. One of the greats of all time. As Alyssa Brito will come to the plate. Helped Oklahoma to the national title in 21 and 22. Raising the profile of the program. As Brito takes the strike. And it's interesting, both of these programs, with the success they've had in the last 3 or 4 years, have gained a lot of fanfare. Locally, nationally. But with that, you've got some newer fans who all they know is winning. So they kind of get thrown off if something doesn't go well for a game or two. I think both teams have had programs have kind of had to deal with that, as is a lot of college softball programs now, Alex, have had to deal with it, and which is a positive because it means the game has so much more popularity and interest that it's kind of getting treated like football does in the fall, where everything is scrutinized.
Well, think about the fans of any sport and any team. Nobody likes their team to lose, right? So always have something to say.
There's that vintage off-speed pitch from DeVoe to get ahead 1-2.
But that was one of the things that Coach Patty Gasso says, and Alyssa Brito taking a pitch right there, that changeup. Angelina DeVoe leaning heavily in that. I love that pitch, locating it well down in the zone. That's one of the things that Coach Gasso has really had to coach her team through this season is, hey, you don't have to be perfect all the time. It's okay.
Pitch is 2-2 the count. Well, she mentioned in a postgame after the BYU loss, hey, we're allowed to have a bad day.
Absolutely.
Everybody has this. We're allowed to have it.
They're 21, 22,
Correct.
19, 18-year-old girls. Of course, it's going to happen.
2-2 the count. That is popped up to right. Chloe got a late start, but makes the catch. Chloe Evans with a big, that not Chloe, that is Sona. Make it, there's a catch there. Huge catch for the out, 2 outs.
And of course, right, the ball always finds the new girl. Sona Halligan going to be out in right field. Not typically going to play out there, but Coach Bob Malone making that change so that she can keep Sona in the lineup. Evans is going to move over to left.
Chloe Evans play left. First time she's played left field in a regular game as a Knight. She has played left field before. And Minnesota, good catch by you, Alex. Of course, we're dealing with the sun, by the way. It's right at our face. We should have wore our eyeglasses. You know, you're not a sunglasses person. I should have wore my sunglasses.
Oh, I have some sunglasses, but I didn't know if we're allowed. You know, should have worn our ball cap. I've got a pink one of those. It would have been right in line with tonight's theme.
Torres at the plate takes a strike. It's 0-1 the count. But good catch by you with Sona at right field for the first time as a Knight this year. 0-1. And I think part of that, as you mentioned it, to keep her in the game in case they decide to bring her back into pitch. There we are.
Facing
There's
the sun.
Alex,
Yeah.
facing the sun right at us. The sun's setting here on this sold-out UCF softball complex.
But I definitely think that's Coach Bob Malone's strategy right now is how many arms can we get in the game? We want to throw the whole kitchen sink at this Sooner offense.
Swing and a miss, and the count is 1-2. Plus, you want to have as many bats also at your disposal. Here's the last pitch.
And DeVoe having a lot of success with that changeup right now down in the zone. That one elevated a little, so trying to move it up and down. Got to keep it off the middle of the plate, though. That's going to be the key here.
1-2 is outside. 2-2 the count to Torres. There was a long season battle at second base with Torres, Avery Hodge. Remember, Tiari Jennings was the second baseman last year, but they moved her to short to take over for Grace Lyons, who was a magnificent shortstop and leader, great career at Oklahoma. And so once they made the move for Jennings to move to short, players like Torres now at second base. 2-2. She gets jammed here, grounds to short. Williams, throw to first. Side retired. Good job by DeVoe. Gets out of this jam and holds Oklahoma scoreless. We head to the bottom of the Shannon Doherty at the plate to lead it off for the Knights. Takes ball one. 1-0 the count to Doherty. Of course, the Knights have had the most sellouts this year in program history. 6 sellouts. Once again in the top 31 in total attendance, top 30 in average attendance, top 20 in capacity. In fact, when it all said and done, these last 3 seasons, Alex, have been the most attended UCF softball seasons in the history of this program, now in its 23rd season.
Continuing to build a legacy. It's amazing what's going on out here in Orlando. Eric, let me ask you a question. Is the total for attendance only the people that are coming through the gate, or is it people all across
it varies.
The field?
I've gotten different answers on that. So I let the people do their work. They give me a number, okay.
And you don't ask questions?
I don't ask questions. I got too much on my plate. 2-1 fouled off, and Sanders trying to come up with it. Fouls it off. Doherty, of course, the senior. 203 career hits, 10th all-time in UCF softball history, 4th all-time in home runs with 32, one away from Janae Shithoster with 33. I could tell you, tonight is packed. I mean, even the press box is packed. I mean, my goodness, we got Chris Plank, the radio voice for Oklahoma, and his crew. I mean his crew. He's got a cool entourage with him. 2-2 the count. It's outside, 3-2 the count. A lot of media here. But yeah, it's going to be pretty packed. There's Chris Plank. Did his radio show from Orlando this morning. I was on his show. You've worked with him in the past as well. Great guy. Tremendous passion. He's been the voice of Oklahoma, I think since 2014, 2015, maybe full-time. One of the best voices in the sport, Chris Plank. As Doherty fouls it off. They do every game, travels everywhere. He was just happy to have a press box. That's not a guarantee at some of these places. He's called games.
Fair. That's fair.
And I can relate. I've done many share games outside. 3-2 the count to Doherty. As Doherty lines it to center, Coleman's there, makes the catch for the first out. And Shannon Doherty's retired. Doherty was part of that UCF 2022 team that played Oklahoma. Of course, Coleman, one of the best center fielders in the country. JT Gasso, a lot of talk about JT and the job he does offensively, but a lot of people don't know JT Gasso coaches the outfield, Alex. As Coach Gasso here coming out to, not sure if she's looking for, what do you look, they're looking for there? Oh, the infield.
Oh, right now you've got
some
they're
bringing the extra
moves.
infielder, yeah.
You got Jada Coleman.
There's JT.
That's going to come in, and she's going to play the second base position. Jada Coleman.
Well, what's funny, so JT Gasso, who coaches the outfield, told me that Jada Coleman can play the infield. In fact, they considered her at one point, maybe in that for that shortstop position, but obviously she's so good at center. But there you see JT.
You've got Jada Coleman that's coming in to play second base, and then you're going to have Torres slide over.
To Janisha Rowe, the slap hitter. We've seen this now a few times this year with Rowe.
And Coach Bob Malone got to talk about that too this week and just what that looks like on their side, right? We always see the defensive side and talk about how funny it is and goofy, but Janisha Rowe just sticking to her game and not trying to do anything outside of herself. And one of the stories that Cindy Bob Malone was telling was when she first got onto campus and was talking to some of these athletes, she told them she wanted to visualize something that they were doing and going to be, maybe experiencing at some point through their career. And Janisha's response was, I hit a home run and I won the game. And she was like, that's not who you are as a player. So let's get back to your identity.
Rowe slaps it foul. 4-2 the count.
And we've joked about that, Eric, up here, of just if you're a hitter, what are you trying to do? And I was like, I'm trying to smoke it past him, right? Sure. But just sticking to what she does well, which is the short game, and still able to beat teams a lot of the time with those 5 infielders pulled in.
Coleman at second base. Got Torres, Jennings, Brito, Sanders. Extra infielder against Rowe. And a strikeout for Maxwell to get Rowe for the second out of the inning.
Kelly Maxwell just going to spin that ball. It's going to stay up in the zone, right above the belt buckle. Good location from Maxwell.
Now Jazz Williams will come to the plate, the senior. If you go to ESPN.com today, you see the feature that Andrea Adelson, the talented writer from ESPN, did on Jazz Williams, who pops one to second there, but Torres is there, and a 1-2-3 inning for the Knights there offensively.
It's so hard facing a great offense like Oklahoma to let pitchers stay in and see lineups 2-3 times, and these hitters are just too good.
Yeah, I got to give you credit. You saw that. You and Coach Bob Malone were thinking the exact same thing. I've been here 600 games, but you got that before I did, so props to you.
Thanks, Eric.
Cindy Sanders at the plate. I was like, why is she doing this? Well, now we know. You think I would have known better. Sanders at the plate. Takes the ball, 1-0 the count. Of course, that's what makes Coach Bob Malone one of the best head coaches in the sport. And so successful, helped the Knights to 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances. Of course, that magical 2022 year where you were the 16th and national seed, hosted, got to the Supers for the first time in program history. That's Samantha Ray at left field. So you got Ray at left, Rowe at center, Chloe at right. But 1-0 to Sanders is high, 2-0 the count. But she's so creative with the roster. She always talks about the All-American bench, but she is creative in making moves from offensive purposes, defensive purposes, and a case here, in a way, to keep an arm that you need who also can hit, like Sona. 2-0 the count. Sanders pops it up. Humphreys makes the catch. One gone here in the third.
Makes for a lot of excitement and a lot of versatility when you have pitchers that can hit, and Coach Bob Malone has a few. So you love to see that game management and just strategy taken to the next level. So you've got so much athleticism out there on the field.
Riley Boone will come to the plate. She will hit here. Struck out in her first at-bat. She hits with no one on, one out. Now Sona. Chopped up the middle. Aubrey Evans is there. Throw to first in time to retire Boone. 2 up, 2 down here in the third.
That's a great play from Aubrey Evans. Look at how she's going to be able to crash right up the middle, but then she stops and plants with enough time to turn and throw. Really good stuff. Great athleticism, speaking of, from the second baseman, Evans.
Knights, of course, top 10 in the country in fielding percentage. Jen Salling, their assistant, was their defensive coach. Of course, was a great Gold Glove herself. Caliber shortstop at Washington, of course, 2-time Olympian. As Jada Coleman takes a strike. Coleman 1 for 2 tonight. Had that infield hit. That was such a big play, Alex. Beating that ball out, because that really opened up that 5-run first for the Sooners. You see Coach Salling there with Becca Mueller, the hitting coach in her first year, to her right. The 0-1. Coleman takes low, ball 1.
Well, Jada Coleman reaching base on that infield single, I feel like just set the tone. She was kind of that spark plug for this OU offense, which we've seen throughout her career. She's somebody that plays with so much visible passion, so much excitement with the great plays she's made defensively. Time and time again, it's really good stuff from Coleman.
1-1. Coleman lines one to deep left. Back at the wall, and it's gone. See ya, Jada Coleman, with her 11th home run of the year, extends the Sooners' lead to 6-0 here in the third.
Opposite field power there. That pitch just left up in the zone, and even if it's off the plate, the Sooner offense is so good. We know they can get their hands out on pitches just off the wide of the plate. Jada Coleman, one of the best in the business. Showcases how much power. Hey, we had to go through some extensive lineup knowledge when I was in school, so it was like a classroom session a few times.
Parker at the plate takes for a ball. Who's teaching you like all this stuff?
Travis Wilson and Lonnie Alameda sat us down. Craig Snyder too, but it was a lot of strategy there then, because we didn't know necessarily when we were burned and when we could re-enter. So it was more of a conversation of here's when you have to stay ready.
The 1-0 missed. 2-0. Of course, we did the BYU UCF series. Gordon Eakin had his own trick up his sleeves, making his moves. But Coach Paul Malone is as good as it gets, and with that, when it comes to that, she calls it the All-American bench. She'll use players for offensive purposes, defensive purposes. There's a swing and a miss by Parker. And DeVoe, her senior, hit here to the count 2-1.
And this is where Angelina DeVoe makes her living, just some off-speed stuff that's going to stay down at the knees. That's where she wants to make her living.
2-1 pitch outside, 3-1 to Parker. Parker, the freshman. What's been certainly two key players, Parker and Pickering. The young freshmen have made big contributions to this Sooners lineup. There's DeVoe on the 3-1. That's ball 4, and Parker draws a walk. And again, if the Knights are going to have a chance to come back in this game and in this series, they've got to limit the walks against this high firepower offense of Oklahoma. Yeah, they are a team that scores 37% of the runs comes from the runner that reaches on as a walk.
And that's the tough thing when you've got a really disciplined hitter like OU does. They're going to work you deep in the count. So this is where you've got to kind of balance, do I work off the plate and risk a ball or risk a walk, or do I risk going over the plate where they could put some barrel on it? But every single time I'm going to take the risk of, hey, make them beat me, right? Make them earn their way on base. 5 walks so far on the day.
Jennings at the plate. The 1-0. Off speed there for a strike. 1-1 that counts to Tiara Jennings. Comes in with 89 career home runs. The next home run would put her at 90. Tying her with the great Stacy Newman. UCLA Bruin great, who's of course the head coach now at San Diego State. 1-1. That's outside, 2 balls and a strike. Wasn't too far long ago that Newman had that home run record. It's been passed over a few times. But certainly part of an incredible list. Jennings trying to become the 8th player ever to reach 90 home runs in a career. 2-1. She gets jammed, pops it up to short. Williams is there, makes the catch, and DeVoe closes the door on the Sooner threat. Here is, we'll lead it off. Out by broadcast partner has already gotten a plate out of it. As Aubrey takes a ball. 1-0 the count. 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for Oklahoma. No runs, 1 hit, 2 errors for UCF. Oklahoma scored 5 in the first and 1 in the third. Aubrey takes ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes for Aubrey Evans, who hit her first home run in her career as a Knight last year in Stillwater against Kelly Maxwell.
I'm sure she'd like to do it again.
Let's try to get on, right? Got to start a rally here. Foul ball. What do the Knights have to do against Maxwell here to chip away?
Well, what we've seen so far is Kelly Maxwell has done a great job staying around the zone and really challenging UCF to see how disciplined they are in the box. And UCF has fallen victim a few times, just swinging at pitches that are not strikes. But once they start watching those pitches go, you see them getting deep in accounts, finding ways on base.
Hits one to second. Backhand there by Torres. And a throw to first to retire Aubrey Evans. Round out there for the first out in the third inning.
A nice firm ground ball there, but Torres going to do a great job just picking it on the backhand. Definitely wanting to recover from the earlier backhand that she fumbled a bit, getting the error back in that first.
Now Stormy Kotzelnick, who's re-entering to hit here. Of course, the Knights coming in 28-18, coming off that doubleheader sweep against Bethune, a no-hitter by Ava Justman. But last weekend, a frustrating weekend in Waco against Aaliyah Binford and Crandall and those two dynamic duel from Baylor's pitching staff. Knights losing 3 games by 1 run, losing 2-1, 1-0, and 1-0 in the sweep loss to Baylor. So the Knights 10-11, 9 of the 11 losses in the Big 12 by 2 runs or less. They've had 14 losses out of their 18 this year by 2 runs or less. 9 losses by 1 run. It's been that close. They just kind of, right now in the mid-30s in the RPI. Here's a grounded deep in the hole. Torres can't handle it, and Kotzelnick will reach with 1 out. We'll see how they score that, but it could be a hit for Stormy.
This is what happens when you can try to put better balls, better pitches that are hitters' pitches in play, trying to see the ball up a little bit, still wanting to do it just a tad bit more, and that one's going to be a line drive through the right side as opposed to the ground ball. But Torres, they're really working her range tonight, making her go to the backhand, challenging her on the side of the forehand.
That is a hit for Stormy. Humphreys at the plate. But the Knights 28-18, mid-30s in the RPI. 10-11 to the Big 12, 5th place. They have series win over Kansas, Texas Tech on the road. They have a win against FAU, who's on top of the American, a win against Liberty, who's on top of CUSA. That pitch is fouled off. And certainly would enhance their resume if they can get a win this weekend against Oklahoma. Of course, UCF will finish Big 12 play next weekend at Iowa State against Jamie Pinkerton and the Cyclones, and then the Big 12 tournament in Oklahoma City. Single elimination, all 10 teams make it. The top 6 get a bye into the quarterfinals. If you're UCF, that's what you want to be, in the top 6. As Humphreys pulls one into left, and that will drop for a hit. And it gets past Riley Boone, and Kotzelnick will go to third. Humphrey slides into second, and the Knights have runners at second and third with 1 out here in the third as Humphreys drops in to hit.
And great job by Sierra Humphreys, doing just enough to bustle that ball out there to shallow left field. Boone out there doesn't come up with it, gonna get charged with the error for the extra bases gain. Stormy Kotzelnick gonna make her way to third. Humphreys gonna come into second, so now a couple of RBI opportunities for one of the best hitters in the history of UCF softball. Your girl, Jada Cody.
Humphreys, single and an error on Boone. As Cody right back to Maxwell. Thought about going to third, will go to first. To get Cody, runners hold a huge out as Maxwell gets Cody. And the Knights now with second and third. 2 outs here in the third.
That's a big out for Kelly Maxwell to get the ground ball. Talk so much about momentum and how important it is and how much it can change a game, but Kelly Maxwell settling right back into Jada Cody.
Now Chloe Evans takes ball a strike. 0-1. And Alex, we talked about this in the open. Those close losses for the offense, situational hitting like this, not able to come up big and getting those runs. Of course, part of it is when you're facing pitchers like All-Americans like Kelly Maxwell, easier said than done. And that's been, I think, one of the biggest differences and adjustments that UCF has had to make this year. In the American, there was only a couple of pitchers here and there that could hold you down. Here in the Big 12, everybody has talented arms that can shut you down. And as a result, you see the season for Chloe hitting .317 on base. It's been a lot harder for the Knights than in the past because of the upgrade in the talent level pool and depth that the Big 12 provides.
Well, depth is hard, and when you're facing somebody great every single day, I feel like as an athlete, you're just really put to the test because you almost want some of those quote-unquote off days where maybe the competition and your opponent is a little bit lesser and it's just kind of more of a walk in the park. But one of the things that Coach Bob Malone has stressed time and time again is we want to be the best. And if we're going to be the best, we've got to put ourselves in position to beat the best. And I feel like we're seeing a lot of that.
And certainly on the field, there's a lot of games in play. They want to make the tournament. They feel they have not performed to their level. But I think for a lot of, not just softball here at UCF, but I think all the sports at UCF, this is a learning year, right? Take notes. Well, this is what life is like in a league as elite as the Big 12. As Chloe rounds to second. Torres is there, throw to first to retire the side. Nice. And of course, joining us now is the head coach, Patty Gasso, joining us here for a few moments. Coach, give me your thoughts on Kelly Maxwell, what you're seeing from her.
Doing really well. I'm really excited the fact that she can get behind in the count and get right back in it. So giving us some ground balls and doing her job.
Coach, a lot of pitching changes that your offense is seeing. What is your messaging to your hitters right now?
I think we learn from each other. You can see them talking a lot between at-bats and so forth, so sharing knowledge. But it's good for us. We're used to it, actually.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Head Coach Patty Gasso joining us here, top of the fourth. Felton in the game. Your thoughts, what you had to say there?
Well, I love like the humble brag, and I feel like she knows how good she is, and she knows that she is just in a league of her own right now.
Well, she's right, though.
Absolutely,
this is nothing new to them. Man.
Absolutely, and the humble brag is absolutely deserved and earned from this Sooner team as a whole, but it's what they're used to. So how can we adapt? How can we change it? Because we know that we're still going to have to find ways to win no matter what we get.
Hansen at the plate takes ball one from Felton. Let's talk a couple things here. Coach Bob Malone, going back to Felton here, your thoughts on this move?
I'm not surprised. I feel like interesting, but not surprised. I feel like Sona Hologen struggled a little bit. She was getting hit hard. Felton earlier in the game was kind of just getting beat pitch by pitch and some shallower balls and again some defensive miscues as well. So I'm not surprised.
Didn't really throw a bad first inning.
No,
Defense did not help her at all.
No, she didn't. And Sona got hit a little bit firmer. Of course, we know that that's because Sona throws a little harder, a little bit higher in the zone. So it's to be expected, but... And now you have Angelina DeVoe. I think she's officially out of the game because Stormy came back in for DeVoe.
She did a good job, though.
Absolutely,
got him out of a couple other jams.
Absolutely, she did. But that was really good utilization, I feel like, from Bob Malone.
If you think about it, they've only used 3 pitchers, but they've used them in various ways. Very creative.
Absolutely.
2-1. You've got to be creative against this Sooner offense. What did you make? I thought what was interesting telling of what Coach Gasso just told us is the communication from her hitters with all the pitching changes. Talk about the communication being such a key factor from a hitter standpoint, getting that information from your teammates.
Well, you have the information coming into these at-bats, so it's nothing, groundbreaking that these hitters are telling one another, but they're probably telling each other how it looks.
Hansen drills one into deep right field, and it is caught by Chloe Evans. That one was hit well, but stayed in the park as Chloe Evans makes the catch for the first out.
Kinsey Hansen taking that ball well off the plate, but still look at it, able to get barrel extended, hitting it to the warning track, but great job from Chloe Evans tracking it down. But we go back to the information sharing, Eric. Like I said, it's nothing groundbreaking. If, Caitlin Felton's throwing a curveball, you know that she's throwing a curveball, but how good is it looking? Is it what we scouted prior to this, or is it being left a little bit more over the middle of the plate? That's more the dialogue that's going on. Off of Sona, her rise ball, it's not breaking as much. Maybe it's more middle, it's more belt buckle high. So sit on that pitch. It's more of that kind of conversation as opposed to what they're throwing.
Pickering at the plate. Freshman now, 1-0 is in there for a strike, 1-1 the count. Of course, the Knights have a lot of arms, too, at their availability there. Sarah Willis, we haven't seen yet. Might not, probably until tomorrow, I would guess. Caitlin Cochran. Ava Justman, who's been throwing very well, has thrown 7 consecutive no-hit innings, lefty arm. So Coach Ball Malone's got a lot of arms, and, we saw her use her arms effectively against Texas and held them below their averages. Averaged only 4 runs a game. There's Justman right there, coming off that no-hitter on Wednesday against Bethune. Felton ahead here, 1-2. Outside 2-2. And Ball Malone's been open, Coach, about having a staff against these type of offenses in the country that you're facing, like the Oklahomas and the Texas.
It's crucial. Cindy Ball Malone has 6 or 7 pitchers on her staff. Again, depending on whether or not everybody's healthy, you've got one redshirting. So
Pickering gets jammed, pops it up to third. Humphreys is there to make the catch. 2 gone. You're in the 4th. So big out there. That'll bring up Brito to the plate. This Knights team top 4 in pitching and ERA in the Big 12, among the nation's top 50 in ERA. They've been coming on. They've done their part for the most part during conference play. There's a swing and a miss. And even in this game, Alex, it's strange to say 6-0, but again, if a couple of defensive plays are made in that first inning, it's a completely different inning. So it's a little misleading there with the 6 runs. It's not like we've seen bad pitches. A lot of it's credit to the great hitters. Brito swings the miss, but Felton here throwing well here ahead 0-2.
Yeah, Felton's looking good in the circle, definitely finding her groove again, but you're right, Eric. It was just a couple of missed opportunities from the UCF defense, whether it was kind of where they were playing. I even think of some of the ones that weren't necessarily an error, but just maybe misplayed.
Yeah. Well, the base hit that
absolutely
Rowe
center field, yep.
Yeah. Get a big jump there, you might catch that ball. There's a ball there, crowd still in it. Not happy with Tom Meyer, home plate crew chief. Behind the plate, ball and 2 strikes, and we emphasize that because that's the little things, right? Those are the margins when you're playing teams like Oklahoma and Texas. You might get away with that when you're in the American or Conference USA, like UCF has been there before. But when you're in the Big 12 team, that makes a difference.
Absolutely.
1-2 the count to Brito, who herself is in the mix for Big 12 Player of the Year, along with Jennings and Atwood. And that's called 2-2. So a 2-2 the count. This fan base are in it. Let's see this last pitch.
The fans definitely wanting that one called for Felton. I've got a fan right below me in the booth. He's fired up.
Yes, he is. 2-2. Listen, there were tickets on the secondary market that were going for a couple $100 for this for these each game. So they're going to get their money's worth. I have a feeling this weekend the fans will. I was trying to get a ticket for a buddy of mine, my old radio producer, Sean, who does a great job. He's an Oklahoma guy, does a lot of streaming. I'm like, buddy, I got nothing for you. It's sold out, 2-2. Brito pops it up, foul. He is in the outfield. There's Doherty, slides, it's an incredible catch. Oh, and Sona, just talk about what you've seen from your arms here and kind of the different ways you've used them.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job outside of 2 pitches. Our defense, I love our team, but our defense is better than what we played in the first inning. So aside from 2 pitches, our pitchers have done a great job, and we got a lot of game left. So excited to see what they're going to do with it.
Coach, your hitters are making some good adjustments here off of Kelly Maxwell. What else do you want to see from your offense the rest of the game?
Yeah, once we get the runners on, we need to slow down. That's the biggest thing. We got runners on both times, and then we kind of sped the game up on ourselves. And we're better than that. Again, I I know we're hanging in there, but I expect more than just hanging in there. I think our team is great, and we're better than what we're doing right now.
Thanks, Coach. Good
Yeah,
luck.
thank you.
That's Coach Ball Malone joining us here as we get set for the bottom of the fourth. Not sugarcoating it there from Coach Ball Malone, as you would expect, as always.
Absolutely. I love how upfront she is about what it is that she wants out of her athletes. I feel like as a leader, the best thing you can do is provide clarity and expectation.
Couple of moves here. Avery Hodge is in the game for Oklahoma at second base, with Samantha Ray here to schedule a hit for the Knights in the bottom of the fourth. 6 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for Oklahoma. No runs, 3 errors, 2 errors. And the first pitch outside to Samantha Ray, the young freshman out of Salinas, California, who's going up against her former travel ball teammate, our good friend Tiari Jennings. They both played together. They're good friends and the families. There's a grounder to second base, and Hodge is right there. Underhands it at first to retire Ray for the first out in the bottom of the fourth. So a quick ground out. That'll bring up Shannon Doherty, who made that incredible sliding catch in foul territory to end the top of the fourth. You, as a two-time All-American first baseman, really appreciated that play by Shannon.
I thought she did a great job, and not only just the range, but also kind of just bracing the play as well. You saw her get lower and lower the closer she got to the ball, which was just a phenomenal athletic read from Shannon.
The ball and no strikes to Doherty. The 1-0 pitch, low 2-0.
And watch how Doherty is going to chase down that ball and just kind of gets lower there as she gets closer to the fence. It was a great grab, and what I feel like really could set the tone right now for UCF to try to make an adjustment, put some good at-bats together.
The 2-0 pitch to Doherty is outside. 3-0 to Shannon Doherty. He's trying to get something going offensively as Coach Ball Malone feels they're pitching well enough. Defense has let them down. See if the offense can pick it up. Had a couple of chances against Maxwell. As Doherty takes a strike, 3-1. Three balls and a strike to Doherty. And Doherty lines one deep into left. That will drop for a hit as it ricochets off the fence. Boone plays it quickly. And it's a 1-out single for Shannon Doherty and the Knights here in the home half of the fourth.
What a great piece of hitting here from Doherty. She's going to be up in the count, 3-1, and good things happen when you can be a hitter and you are ahead in the count because you know Maxwell has to come in the zone. That one just above the knees to Doherty. Doherty drops barrel well. That right there is what UCF needs to do. Try to challenge Maxwell in the zone, not swing at her junk, around the zone, out of the zone, all the balls.
Coach Ball Malone calling on Kennedy Searcy, the senior. Been battling injuries all year. Got back into the starting lineup a week ago tonight in Waco against Baylor. Hit the walk-off base hit in the bottom of the sixth Wednesday night against Bethune that got the run rule victory over Bethune and gave Ava Justman that no-hitter. She pinch hits here with Doherty at first and 1 out, hitting in Rowe's spot. Takes for a ball. One thing we know about Coach Ball Malone, Alex, you've covered her now. You've since 21, me since 19. She will use everybody. She will make different changes regardless of the situation. Look at her right there, talking to her team right there, trying to light them up right now.
I love it. In moments like this, nobody should be caught off guard. I feel like those conversations happen well in advance. And that's, I feel like, the best thing you can do as a coach is, again, prepare your other coaches, prepare your athletes, be clear about what your expectation is. And Kennedy Searcy knows that if the moment got up where Janisha Rowe was in a pressure situation late in the game, she's going to get the at-bat.
Ball and a strike to count. Maxwell, though, swinging and a miss, and the count is 1-2. First, Coach Ball Malone was a two-time All-American at Pacific. He's a two-way player.
And right there, you're going to see that Oklahoma hadn't even realized that Coach Ball Malone has made the offensive adjustment. That first pitch, going to have all 5 infielders in. Can you imagine?
Kennedy jam, pop to Torres at second, and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. You're right, they had 5 infielders on that first pitch from Kennedy, thinking it was Rowe coming to the plate. But Maxwell gets big out there with Kennedy.
Shout out to our producer and director. All eyes on the field at all times. Oh.
Jordan Peeler, home plate camera. She caught that.
Really good stuff. Camera crew.
She could have just yelled it at us. She's right
She
nearby
shoulda.
us. You know, we got the open window. There she is. Counting those infield. She's on top of it.
Too funny.
1-0 the count here to Jazz. So Jazz Williams, who of course has an ESPN featured right now. Andrea Adelson was here in the Texas series, hung out with her husband, talking about being a mom, and just really at peace. She's went through some things in her life, being a mom, being a softball player, and just really enjoying her career here at UCF, here in her second and final year as a Knight. She was part of that U.S. under-19 team in 2019. Started her career at Oregon and finishing here at UCF. Hit a couple of homers last year in the American Conference Championship in Tampa, including one that was the go-ahead against Memphis and a come-from-behind win. And she takes here 3-0. But great piece by Andrea Adelson. Strongly recommended you read it. And, of course, you see there's Bobby Malone throwing right there. There's my buddy Sean next to him. Who used to be my radio producer locally. 3-0. Williams nearly gets a hit walk. And so Jazz gets on, and it's 2 on, 2 out here for the Knights in the 4th.
And good at bat from Jazz Williams, just again working deep into the count. That's what you want to do right now. Apply the pressure to Kelly Maxwell and make her challenge you in the zone.
So now Aubrey Evans to the plate, sophomore out of Apopka, Florida. Swings and misses, and it's 0-1 the count for the all-region performer from a year ago, who set the school record with 18 doubles last year. Hit 3 doubles in a doubleheader sweep of Bethune on Wednesday. The 0-1. Foul back, and Maxwell's ahead 0-2. One thing I've been impressed about Maxwell here, Alex, not many hitters she falls behind. It's been very sharp from that standpoint, going after certain hitters.
She has been, and she will throw it in the zone when she's deeper into this lineup. But that's the thing. If UCF has been more patient in their at-bats, not swinging at pitches out of the zone, she will get deep into counts.
That's hit foul down the right side.
And that's what I like so far about Kelly Maxwell is she knows if she's getting those bites and swings and misses on pitches out of the zone that she can live there.
No balls, 2 strikes to count to Aubrey Evans. 2 on, 2 out. Outside, Aubrey lays off of that. It's 1-2. Of course, Aubrey Evans, her dad is friends with Brock Purdy's dad. They know Brock Purdy, of course, the quarterback for the 49ers. 1-2. And again, outside, 2-2. Aubrey had that walk-off base hit last year in Tampa to clinch that conference championship in their final game as a member of the American, beating Tulsa, run-ruling Tulsa, to win back-to-back conference championships. Go out on top, 2-2. Evans grounds to short. Jennings will quickly go to second to get the force out and retire the side. Knights get a couple on, but strand them in person. Thank you for coming and showing that beautiful dog.
Thank you, Allie.
There's a dog there? I mean, I saw that dog. I'm like, we got to get that dog in the camera. Come on.
I cannot believe you saw that. That just made my whole
Just
night.
for you, Alex.
Thank you.
Just for you. I only thought of you in that moment.
My goodness.
If I was by myself, I wouldn't even have considered it. But for you, just for you. Avery Hodge at the plate. 0-1 the count. Low ball 1. I mean, this is one of our last 2 broadcasts. We, had to do one more pooch pick. Got to do one in person.
I love it. I feel like we should do that more next year. I'm just going to.
You let me know.
Plant
I'll be
the
in the
seed.
outfield when you do that. I'll be in the outfield. We could do a separate broadcast. I'll be in the outfield. You stay in the booth with the dog. 1-1 to Hodge, pinch hitting here. 2 balls and a strike in the top of the 5th. I'll be right there. That's where I'll be when you have the dogs here next year.
Oh, too funny.
I'll probably be there Sunday morning for the Sunday finale. 2 balls and a strike There's a bunt attempt, and it's foul. Kennedy, by the way, who pinch hit, stays in the game and is playing center field for the Knights. So you've got Kennedy at center with Ray at left, Chloe at right. Still have Humphreys at third, Jazz at short, Aubrey Evans at second, Doherty at first, Cody catching. Against Avery Hodge. Here in the top of the 5th. 2-2. Slap foul. Of course, Hodge has been part of those young under U.S. national teams, the younger teams. Kind of playing there with Sanders. Coach Gasso has talked about that second base. Really happy with all the different options that she has at her disposal at second base and in the infield. 2-2. Hodge grounds to short. There's Williams. Throws to first in time to retire Hodge for the first out in the 5th inning. Got to bring up Cindy Sanders. But talking to Patty Gasso over the years, everybody always focuses on the offense and the pitching. But I've always asked her about her defense. She loves defense. That is, you want to get her going, talking defense. Says that is the number one most important thing. And they've been number one in the country in defense now for the last few years.
Well, you know what they say, defense wins championships. And I wasn't always the defense girly myself. I was a big offensive gal. But you know what? It's so important, and obviously it cannot be overlooked.
Sanders pops it up, foul territory. Doherty, the wind kind of taking it a little bit, swirly there. But Doherty makes the catch. She knows this place inside out. To retire Sanders for the second out of the inning.
Another great play from Shannon Doherty, just showing her senior level experience, leadership out there, just tracking it down, kind of adjusting to somebody that has obviously played first time and time again, knows how the wind blows. Well,
swirly.
I was going to say, you know what, of course, they got the shot when the flag was not blowing. But anybody that has been here, it's blowing. I was going to say, it's blowing right now, but come on, man. You're making us look silly.
There's the outfield there in left field. With Riley Boone at the plate. The 1-0. Ball 2. Of course, talking about Coach Gasso, you realize that's no swing there. Coach Gasso, 1,498 wins. This is her 30th season, and it's Oklahoma head coach. She's going to lead them to the 29th straight NCAA tournament. The only time they didn't make the tournament, it was when nobody made the tournament, 2020, when there was no tournament, obviously, due to the pandemic. A 2-0. But to put things in perspective, prior to Patty Gasso's arrival at Oklahoma, the pre-Patty Gasso era, in the previous 20-plus some years of Oklahoma softball, you want to guess how many times they made the NCAA tournament?
I don't even know.
Once.
1? Okay. I was like 0, 1. I don't know. It's got to be something low.
It's grounded to short. Williams is there. Will throw to first in time to retire the side. Just for you.
We are. We love the furry and fuzzy friends.
Stormy Kotzelnick to lead it off here at the bottom of the 5th. Ooh, here goes inside against Maxwell. So Stormy will lead it off. Oklahoma, 6 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Sooners. No runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for UCF. Eric Lopez alongside 2-time All-American Alex Powers. Knights have had some chances here to get back in the last couple innings, but have stranded a few runners. They've left 6 through the first 4 innings here, Alex, against Kelly Maxwell.
UCF offense has made some good adjustments late in the game. I'm sure Coach Paul Malone would like to see those at-bats had earlier in the innings where they're trying to play catch-up, right? And, of course, we know on the side of defense would have rather they gone without the couple of mishaps, but still making the adjustments, just trying to do it sooner than later.
It's a swing and a miss, 1-2. Kotzelnick grounded out to first in the first inning, singled back in the third.
That pitch from Maxwell, that's just where she's so good up in the zone. Gonna continue to climb the ladder when she's ahead in the count.
Swing and a miss. As Maxwell gets Stormy into the strikeout here for the first out in the 5th.
Back-to-back pitches up in the zone, climbing the ladder is Kelly Maxwell and finding a lot of success there. Stormy Kotzelnick taking the bait. Big swing there by Brito, bringing in a couple more Sooner runs.
Swing and a miss by Humphreys, and the count is 0-1.
It is. It's been some opportunistic swings from OU, but if those plays hadn't happened, if those miscues hadn't happened from UCF, I feel like this game is maybe 2-3-0. A little bit different outcome.
Right. And that's the thing. If you're Coach Baldwin, you're frustrated because Oklahoma's good enough. You don't
Absolutely.
need to help them.
Right. Don't give them extra outs.
Yeah. They will make you pay, as they did in the first. 1-1 the count to Humphrey. Pops it up, foul. Into the stands. Away. The count is 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes to count. What's been your thoughts on Humphrey? Seen her all year. I mean, she was a highly touted, California, one of the top recruits in Knights program history. And she swings and misses there, but she's a part of the future for the Knights. She's right now in the present as well, but she's part of the Knights' future next year.
Well, you see Kelly Maxwell just, again, success up in the zone off of Kozlenick, and then going to come back against Humphreys and go down at the feet there. Really good pitch when you're ahead in the count. 1-2 pitch, definitely the pitcher's zone on that one. Humphreys just trying to stay defensive. But we've seen Sierra Humphreys have a lot of growth throughout the season, Eric, and I feel like that's one of the things that I'm most excited about watching her the next couple of years is she's already made such significant strides with just her knowledge. You can tell things are just starting to click. And it might be dangerous here in the next couple of seasons for her in a good way.
Yeah, Jada Cody's taking her under a wing, who's at the plate right now. But you look at the Knights with a young, I mean, even on Wednesday, if you watch the Bethune game, you saw Humphreys at third with Aubrey Evans at short, Samantha Ray at second. That could be your future infield next year. Part of that 16th highest recruiting class. Cody's been someone that has mentored Humphreys, both played third base. There's Cody, such a legendary career here at UCF. Adding to her resume with the recipient of the Order of Pegasus this year. It goes to the highest honor you can get as a UCF student. An All-American, first UCF player ever to play on the U.S. national team. Set the single season RBI record in 22 at 75. Drills one up the middle through for a base hit for Jada Cody. As the ball goes into the backstop on the errant throw, and that gives Cody into second base. So that'll be a single and an error on Oklahoma.
And Jada Cody gonna pepper this ball right back up the middle. Kelly Maxwell's gonna get the glove on it, but look at how Jada Coleman comes up, just absolutely firing, and Jada Cody gonna take advantage of the defensive change. Ella Parker going to first base. Jada Cody sees an opportunity for some contact there as she's going around first. Parker getting the obstruction call. Jada Cody easily getting into second now in scoring position.
Yeah, good catch, Parker there in first base, taking over for Sanders, but that is the third error for Oklahoma in this game. For most this year. Now Chloe Evans takes the strike, 0-1 the count. Oklahoma had 17 errors coming into this ballgame. They've made 3 tonight. I don't think either head coach is going to be pleased with their defense.
Just applying the pressure too, putting balls in play and trying to run the bases aggressively are both teams. As you see Chloe Evans taking a hack at that one. Another one well up in the zone from Maxwell. Chloe Evans has been deemed a bad ball hitter, but really just an every ball hitter. She can hit pitches all around the zone, but needs to try to lay off that last one and even the one before. Don't want to swing at anything over your head.
The ball and 2 strikes to Chloe. With Cody at second. 2 outs here in the 5th. 1-2. Just outside. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Maxwell against Chloe Evans. Cody at second base. Chloe hits one to deep right, but it'll hook foul into the right field bleachers. As you can see, it is packed there. It's packed everywhere tonight at the Plex. That's a long foul ball.
And this is where Chloe Evans is just so strong, going to take that pitch well off the plate inside. But the way she swings, the way she stands, and the way she sells out for those pitches gives her every opportunity to get barrel out and extended.
2-2. Away, 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes to count to Chloe Evans. Chloe 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 5 in her career against Maxwell. Gets a piece of it to foul it off. Has 113 career hits in her 2 years here at UCF, 81 RBIs, 11 outfield assists, which is an outfield record for a 2-year outfielder here at UCF. Set the single season record last year with 7 outfield assists. Payoff pitch, Chloe fouls it off.
Maxwell challenging her down in the zone the last couple of pitches. Evans doing a good job, just getting enough to try to foul it off.
Three balls, 2 strikes, the count. Chloe down the line, fair ball down the line. Coming around to score will be Cody. It's an RBI double by Chloe Evans, and the Knights get on the board. It's 6-1 now in the 5th.
A nice 8-pitch at bat that Chloe Evans is going to come through on top. Love how she gets her hands extended on that ball, driving it down the right field line. Jada Cody easily going to come in to score. Chloe Evans, stand-up double. She's fired up. She knows that was a big swing, trying to get the momentum on the Knights side.
10th double of the year for Chloe Evans. 33rd RBI of the year, which leads the team. 82nd RBI of her UCF career. And it's also her career hit number 170 for Chloe Evans. Going back to her days at Minnesota. Griffin at the plate. Takes ball 1. 1-0 the count. To Ashley Griffin. My analyst is giving me a weird look, just wondering where I came up with those numbers.
You know, like in school when you cheat and you look at somebody's paper, I'm like, let me see what numbers you have written down, because I don't think a single one of those facts are written. They're just coming straight from your brain.
No comment. 2-0 the count to Griffin. But the Knights finally break through here offensively against Maxwell.
Love it. Love to see the adjustments, and that's what Coach Ball Malone has been stressing time and time again, but want to see it sooner, right? Don't wait till the 5th. Let's do it in the 2nd.
The 2-0 pitch is missed, 3-0. There is action in the Sooner bullpen. Kirsten Deal, the reigning Big 12 pitcher of the week, is warming up on the left side. With on the right side for Oklahoma is Peyton Monticelli. The 3-0. High, ball 4, and a walk to Griffin. 2 on, 2 out here for the Knights. Here at the bottom of the 5th. First pitch to Shannon. Ball. Shannon lined out in the 2nd inning and singled in the 4th. Got Chloe Evans at 2nd, who had the RBI double in the inning. And then now Ashley Griffin at 1st, who walked. The 1-0. It's a strike, 1-1, as Maxwell now going over at a 100 pitch mark.
Kelly Maxwell finding the strike zone there. That one at the knees. That's a good pitch. Good take from Shannon Doherty. Not one you necessarily want to swing at early in and at bat.
Doherty checked her swing, fouls it off to the right side of our booth. Alex Powers obviously played first base, didn't even flinch.
I know when balls are close in
I would
proximity.
hope so. As a first baseman in your career, I think you would have to know, right? 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Outside, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to count. 6-1 lead for the Sooners. Scoring 5 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd. Knights scoring here in the bottom of the 5th. 2-2. Got her. Big strikeout for Maxwell to end it as she gets Doherty on the strikeout. Her
hope and some additional opportunity.
Sarah Willis, you just saw now, is in the game at left field. Felton still in, facing Jada Coleman. Top of the order for the Sooners with Coleman, Parker, and Jennings. 1, 2, 3. Against Felton here in the top of the 6th. Yeah, I don't think either team happy with the defense. The difference is it's hurt the Knights more than Oklahoma.
Well, absolutely, because Oklahoma has definitely given away a couple of moments for UCF to get advantage on, but still they've done a great job taking advantage of those opportunities that UCF gave them in return. A couple of walks given by the UCF pitching staff, a couple of big swings by some Oklahoma hitters. Made for a good night so far.
A ball and 2 strikes to count to Coleman, who's at 2 for 3 tonight with that home run. Came back in the 3rd inning. Gets a piece of it. Of course, Felton's had a breakthrough year this year. You look, and again, I don't think she's thrown bad tonight. Either that first inning, she just didn't get help from defense at a couple of plays. Re-entered the game. Is ahead here, 1-2. That's outside. And it's 2-2.
No pitcher has thrown bad in the circle tonight at all, Eric, like you just said. It's just a couple of missed moments. That's a good pitch. You see Jada Coleman a little fired up that she took it. She knows that she doesn't want to swing outside of her strike zone. Talk about plate discipline and how good this OU offense is.
That's missed high. They lead the nation in walks. JT Gasso runs the offense. What makes their offense? Obviously, talent. They would be I think Coach Gasso would be the first to tell you talent is a big part of that, but their philosophy. JT Gasso now has been part of 5 of the national championships running the offense. 7 World Series appearances. JT is there's a walk by Coleman, but they take pride in their walks and getting on just like that.
And Jada Coleman, the spark plug for this OU team, but Eric, we talk so much about why teams are good and what they do well. You're right. Of course, it's just their flat-out physical ability. That's no surprise. But then it's all about the information and education. But not only having the information, what do we do with it, right? How can we implement it into our game plan and our strategy offensively? And that has been OU's key to success for as long as I can remember. They've always just seemingly been ahead of the game as far as what they know and how they use it.
Ella Parker at the plate. They're against Felton with Coleman at first base. 0-1 the count to the freshman Parker, the top 25 freshman finalist, her and Pickering. Among the finalists, including Tegan Cavan of Texas, Kaiten Henry of Texas, just to name a few. That's 4 right there UCF has seen this year. Talented freshmen. Keegan Rothrock of Florida is in that list. National Player of the Year finalists should be probably narrowed down next week. That's low in the dirt. 2-1 now the count. Parker, and I think Coleman, good safe bet she'll be on that list, as of course Jennings as well. And that's going to be interesting. The National Player of the Year kind of still feels wide open right now. Najee Kennedy of Stanford, I think probably the front runner if you polled a lot of the people out there. But you certainly have Jennings, Coleman, Reese Atwood at Texas, I think are probably some of the names you're going to hear about.
I couldn't agree more. And the talent, I think the biggest thing too, the talent is just so widespread between conferences, between schools. You just have a lot of good softball being played.
3-1. Parker to second. Aubrey flips to second for 1. To throw to first. In time, double play. As the Knights turned their 19th double play of the year. And a big one there to get 2 outs here in the 6th.
And this one hit hard from Ella Parker, but Aubrey Evans plays it perfectly right up the middle. Jazz Williams with the turn is so quick over at shortstop. The 4-6-3 double play. Just how Coach Jen Salling wrote it up.
Jen Salling, of course, 2-time Olympian, runs this defense. 19th double play turned by the Knights. They're in the top 50 in double plays turned. There's a swing and a miss by Jennings, before mentioned National Player of the Year candidate. 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Well, there's Coach Salling right next to Coach Ball Malone. Part of won a bronze medal with the Canadian national team in the most recent Olympics. Part of the Canadian national team coaching staff. Won a national title in Washington in 2009 with Danielle Laurie. And I think many players, I think you've said as well, many people do a poll on the best defensive infielders of all time. Jen Salling's name comes up a lot.
Absolutely.
There's a comebacker to Felton. Will go to underhand to retire Jennings. For the Sooners getting the ball here tonight. And you see getting the strikeout of Rowe, getting the strikeout of Kozelnick and Humphreys. And Doherty there in the last half inning to end the night's thread, and settling for just giving up just the 1 run on 6 hits for Kelly Maxwell, who's gone 5 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. She faces Kennedy Searcy, who punts foul. I think when you look at the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year race, it could come down to Maxwell and her former teammate Lexi Kilfoyle. And of course, those two will face each other next weekend in Bedlam at Love Field, which always has a lot on the line. But of course, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State could be the last regular season meeting between those two programs. And of course, Big 12 title implications. The Sooners coming into this weekend with a 1-game lead over Texas in the Big 12 standings. Have won the last 11 Big 12 titles. They're looking for their 12th, but keep in mind Texas has the tiebreaker, winning 2 out of 3 in Austin this year. A 1-1 to Kennedy is a ball, 2-1 to count. Texas is hosting Iowa State this weekend. Oklahoma State is hosting Kansas. Texas Tech is at Houston. That's your Big 12. And Baylor, who won the doubleheader from BYU in Provo yesterday, they're playing their last game here tonight. There's a pop-up to short, breaker over Kansas. And then Baylor, who's all of a sudden red hot, making the move into that 6th spot in the Big 12 standings. Remember, the top 6 get a bye into the quarterfinals in the Big 12 tournament, which will get going Wednesday, May 8th. 7 will play 10, 8 will play 9 in the first round on that Wednesday night. All taking place at Oklahoma City. Jazz Williams pops it up foul and out of play. And of course, Oklahoma and Texas not only battling for the Big 12 championship, but battling for the top national seed. Right now, they're both going to be 1-2 in some order. Could come down to the Big 12 championship. Both teams strong resumes. UCF just trying to get an extra win here against Oklahoma this weekend to pad up their resume and really put it almost close to a lock if they were to win a game against Oklahoma. Otherwise, though, they got some work to do themselves. So the count is 2-1 to Jazz. With 1 out. That is missed. 3-1 now, the count to Jazz Williams. Knights, of course, I mentioned with wins. 2 wins at Texas Tech, 2 wins against Kansas, a win against FAU, who's on top of the American, a win against Liberty, who's on top of CUSA. But you want to add some more to feel really good about your at-large chances if you're UCF. And one of the ways to do it is try to finish in that 4-5 spot, maybe that top 4 of the Big 12, which is the number 2 conference in college softball according to the RPI. The KPI, which is a new metric that the committee's using this year, has UCF at 32.
And you see this pitch from Jazz Williams just getting inside, painted on the corner. Not a bad take. Not one you feel like you can get your barrel out on.
Williams drops a base hit into center. A 1-out single for the senior Williams. 7th hit of the night for UCF. Comes here in the 6th. You see, I think the husband enjoyed that. He's right there in the outfield.
And that pitch up in the zone at the letters of the chest, Jazz Williams, but able to recognize it immediately out of the hand. She's always been a hitter that has done so well off of rise balls. She stays down and through the ball so well when it's elevated in the zone. Great piece of hitting.
Aubrey Evans to the plate. That misses for a ball. Of course, the Knights probably going to end up with a top 20 toughest schedule in the country at a minimum. Could be even higher than that. They've challenged themselves, which the committee tends to like if you play a tough schedule. The 1-0. Right now, D1 softball has the Big 12 as a 7-bid lead. Would be the most since 2011 when the Big 12 had 8 teams make the tournament. But a lot of softball to go. Kansas dropping a game to Kansas City this midweek. Really hurt Kansas. They're down in the 40s in the RPI. As Aubrey lines one to second, and a nice catch is made by Avery Hodge for the 2nd out of the inning. Nice play by Hodge.
Not a bad piece of hitting here from Evans. But Hodge going to jump up, make the grab. I love the timing, too, of that because she timed it so well. But this is where you've seen the UCF offense really make some good adjustments, start to barrel some balls up late in the game a little. Feels like a little too late. However, never too late, right?
Sarah Willis at the plate. Oh, and that nearly goes away past Hansen. And that'll allow the runner in Williams to go to second base with a 1-0 count to Sarah Willis.
That one, if you're Sarah Willis, you know, talk about getting hit by pitches, and she'll gladly wear one for the team, but I'm thinking more long-term. Obviously, you want her arm, you want her healthy. Don't want her to be taking any balls off the body.
Jen Rahoma in the Super Regionals. The 1-0. Willis takes a strike. Talk about a full circle moment for Sarah Willis in her senior weekend playing Oklahoma. Whereas 3 years ago, as a freshman, she was on the roster for Washington when they lost to Oklahoma in that Super Regionals.
I feel like the only word that comes to mind is redemption.
Yeah. She had limited playing time at Washington as Willis drills one to right. Just foul. That ball sliced and it went just foul. Otherwise, that would have gotten a run in.
A couple of pitches from Maxwell painted inside, but then Sarah Willis going to take that one, drive it opposite field. We've seen so much success offensively tonight on both sides of the field when the hitter hits the ball the other way.
So it's 1-2 the count to Willis, 327 hitter on the year. Of course, she's transferred to UCF last year and of course won the American Conference Pitcher of the Year, joining Mackenzie Otis, Shelby Turnier as night pitchers that have won Pitcher of the Year awards. Otis did it in CUSA in 2012, Turnier in 2016, or 2015, excuse me, and now Willis last year, who was the tournament MVP in Tampa when the Knights won the conference championship. Through the program's first 7-inning perfect game a year ago, as you see Maxwell's pitch count up to 115. 1-2. Willis grounds to short. Jennings got bumped into Williams, and the umpire's going to call an out in her career. As Kenzie Hansen starts, leads it off for the Sooners in the 7th. 1,498 wins for Patty Gasso, 7 NCAA championships, 16 Women's College World Series appearances, 15 Big 12 titles. There's a base hit by Hansen to left. Willis will play it in as Kenzie Hansen has her 3rd hit of the night. Big night for Kenzie Hansen, 3 for 4 tonight. There you see Patty. 8 Big 12 conference tournament titles, 15 regular season titles, 412 Big 12 wins. The most of any Big 12 coach in any sport. Pretty good.
I'd say that's pretty good. Pretty impressive resume.
Well, you had a great conversation. You talked about the success. During our talk with her, Riley Ludlam will be the pinch runner for Hansen. Wouldn't be surprised if Ludlam stays in and catches here in the bottom of the 7th. The transfer from Furman. Now Pickering at the plate. Pickering past Doherty and into right field for a hit. It's a single for Pickering, who has her 2nd hit of the ball game, and the Sooners, just like that, have 2 on, nobody out here in the 7th.
It's a really good piece of hitting from Cassidy Pickering. Just going to get her hands around that pitch, drive it to the pull side of right field. A nice little 3-4 hole shot. And again, just continuing to chip away. I think that's one of the things that's so dangerous about the OU offense is, of course, they've got the power numbers. Eric, you mentioned it earlier. They've hit home runs in 83% of their games this season, but they can chip away with singles and good situational hitting opportunities, too.
Brito at the plate, who's 1 for 3 tonight with the home run back in the 1st inning. 2-run shot, her 16th of the year. Flew out in the 2nd and then fouled out in the 4th. On the great play by Doherty in first base.
Go back.
0-1 count.
Go back, though, to what we were talking about with Coach Gasso and just how she really is in a league of her own with all that she's accomplished.
That's a base hit to left. As Ludlam will hold it 3rd, and 3 consecutive singles for Oklahoma. And just like that, it's bases loaded, nobody out.
Oh, Sabrito says, I want a piece of the pie. Hitting is contagious, so let me just single my way on base as well. Another hole in the 5-6 hole, this time going to the pull side again. We've seen so much power opposite field, but themselves. And I think that just stands alone, right? Nobody can right now compete with what Oklahoma has built. And that was part of our conversation earlier this week was I asked Coach, for so many, you are who they go to and people need your advice. Who do you go to? And who's in your corner and the people who you just want to seek wisdom and kind of just that listening ear from? And you know, I think her answer was so interesting, and she's very cautious. She does take it home and talk about it with her husband, right? But she also talks about it with people that have nothing to do with softball and kind of those outlets or who did used to coach and are no longer in the game. But it's hard to ask those questions when you're kind of, like I said it earlier, in a league of your own.
Ava Justman, the new pitcher for the Knights, facing Avery Hodge. Your bases loaded, nobody out. 2 balls and a strike. Justman on the 2-1 pitch. Deliver assist, and it's 3-1 now. The count to Hodge. Of course, last time we saw Justman was on Wednesday, which he threw that 6-inning no-hitter against Bethune-Cookman, part of 2 no-hitters this season for the Knights. Of course, transferred out of Wisconsin. Behind the count here on Hodge. That's the 3-1. That's high, ball 4, and a walk to Hodge, and it's 7-1 Oklahoma. As Ludlam comes in to score. But she's also talked to us. It was a great conversation to hear her talk about having to adapt to a certain way to the current players today, with what the current players deal today with social media and all the things around it and the expectations. But talk about the differences as her as a head coach in 2000 when they won their first national title and now in the present. As the Sooners go back to the pinch hitting here at the bench, with Lilio here at the plate. It was interesting to hear her in those conversations, Alex, which I know you enjoyed in catching up with Coach Gasso.
I think it's crazy to see some of the ways that the game has evolved, and not only just the game, the visibility, given all of the eyes that are currently on college softball and everything that ESPN has done to support the viewership, but also, like you said, Eric, the other things that just kind of trickle into these athletes' lives, the pressure of social media.
Quincy Lilio at the plate, pitch hitting, pops it up. Williams comes over to left field, shallow left, to make the catch for the first out here in the 7th inning. So 1 gone.
And that's one of the things that I feel like I have gotten to witness, especially the last 5, 6, 7 years, Eric. And I've had that conversation with my old college coach, Lonnie Alameda, and I told her, you know, Coach, I'm so jealous of the girls now that have these NIL opportunities. And she just straight in the face looked at me and said, AP, you got to enjoy the game, though. You didn't have what the pressures that these other girls did.
That's a base hit to right. That will get 1 run in as Pickering will score as the Sooners extend the lead to 8-1 on the RBI single by Riley Boone.
The Sooner offense continues to just chip away. Another single here. This one off the bat of Riley Boone. In the 9-hole, you can do it in all parts of the lineup, and this is where the depth of the Sooner offense is so dangerous. Single by single, Eric, base by base, chipping away.
So it is 8-1 Oklahoma, top of the order now with Coleman at the plate. As Justman delivers first pitch inside, ball 1. Bases loaded, still 1 out. Of course, Kara Hutchins, the all-time wins leader, 1,707 wins. Mike Kendrea, 1,674. Second, and Patty Gasso, currently at 1,498. 3 defensive outs away from win number 1499. Putting her within a win away, becoming the 3rd head coach to win over 1,500 games. We may never see that again. The way, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if we'll see coaches coach as long as Patty Gasso has. Ball and a strike, of course, has that new stadium, Love Field, which opened this year in March, 4,200 capacity. It's something that she's very proud of with the success. Remember her talking to me about it on the podcast interview going back to, I think, 2020, I want to say, about that, and kind of the behind the scenes and how to build it, and the money donated by boosters, by the Love Field folks. Where she had a hands-on in the construction of that stadium here in its first year. 1-2 the count to Coleman. And it's outside, 2-2.
How special for Coach Gasso to get to witness that kind of growth. You see it over the last couple of decades and what it was, and then getting to still be a part of it to what it becomes. I feel like that's pretty cool.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Coleman. Low ball 3. 3-1 the count. Of course, mentioned Oklahoma going for a 4-peat. Some other notables in sports. UConn women's basketball won a 4-peat from 2013 to 2016. Gino Auriemma and company. It's the payoff pitch. Low ball 4, and Coleman draws a walk. That'll get another run in. It's 9-1. Pat Summitt and Tennessee won 3 straight, 96-98. UCLA men's basketball, John Wooden, 7 straight national titles from 67 to 73. Anson Dorrance, North Carolina women's soccer from 86 to 94, dominating women's soccer. Is Ella Parker at the plate. A swing and a miss. But those are some of the notable dynasties in college sports. You had the NBA, the Boston Celtics with Bill Russell, Red Auerbach from 59 to 66. This is what we're looking at right now. 0-1. Parker swings and misses. The count is 0-2. They're smiling. You're seeing the dorky side of me here, Alex.
No, I love the facts that you pull and put together and the information across all sports that you can share. I feel like it's so great.
0-2. It's a ball. Well, I think it's important to take a moment to witness what you're seeing. We may never see this again. There's so much parity, Alex. You know this as well as anybody in the sport. It's remarkable what Oklahoma's doing in this senior class, which Coach Gasso talking to us, and rightfully so. This senior class could go down as the greatest senior class in college softball history. Parker grounds to second. Evans will have 1 play. Will go to first to get the out. That will get a run in, and Hodge will score. As Oklahoma extends the lead, they're up 9 now here in the 7th. I mean, the Oklahoma has a huge senior class. And of course, playing their final weekend as a member of the Big 12 on the road. Of course, next year, Oklahoma will be in their first year in the SEC. There's Tiare Jennings, who's been a big part of this dynastic run for the Sooners, who've won 6 national titles during the last, since 2013. Swings and fouls it off, 0-1 the count. So he hits here with 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. Jada Cody shaking a little bit there. Oof. That's why they wear the face mask.
Right off a face mask. Not much you can do there for Cody, but just hope she shakes it off. She's okay.
0-1 the count to Jennings. He takes a ball. Again, Jennings coming into this weekend. 298 RBIs, 7th all-time in Division I softball history. 1 behind Stacy Newman for 6th place. 7 behind Sierra Romero of Michigan at 305. Leah Bratz of Arizona from 94 to 98 with 322. Jocelyn Allo, 323. And our friend Jenny Dalton-Hill, the all-time RBI queen at 328.
Impressive and sitting in great company.
Yeah, 2-1. Outside, 3-1. So Jennings ahead here. Three balls and a strike. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. The pitch. Jennings muscles one into left, but Willis is there to make the catch to retire the side. Sooners add 4. Last chance for the Knights. Coming up here, that's down 10-1. Maxwell still in. Facing Sierra Humphreys to start the bottom of the 7th. And barring a miraculous comeback here, the Knights are going to have a setback here, Alex. What, if you're City Ball Malone tonight, you take away from tonight to go into tomorrow, Game 2, 2 Eastern. We'll have it for you here on Big 12 Now, ESPN Plus. As the 1-0 from Maxwell. As Humphreys up the middle, Hodge was there to first to Parker to retire Humphreys for the first out of the inning.
I feel like just looking ahead, you're trying to look early in the ballgame. I said it earlier, but the missed opportunities and the big plays that you just want back if you're Coach Bob Malone. So trying to just go back, reflect, look at the routine plays that we may not have taken advantage of or made, and trying to minimize those is going to be the biggest.
Their final bedlam as conference rivals, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. As the new pitcher for the Sooners is Carly Keeney, the Liberty transfer, comes in for the Sooners.
Well, and Keeney coming into this game mainly in that reliever role and just really defined as a hard-nosed competitor. She's going to attack the zone, but it's going to be the defense behind her. It's going to be her biggest key to success, just rolling in the ground balls.
Facing Jada Cody. Of course, this is not the first time Carly Keeney has pitched in that circle here at the complex. 2 years ago, she pitched against UCF and lost 3-0 to Kemal Woodall and the Knights. Jada Cody and company, as Cody fouls it off, and the count is 0-2. Keeney went 1 2/3 innings, gave up 1 run, 3 walks, took the loss. That was Kemal Woodall's first start as a Knight. She was magnificent and set the tone for a magnificent year for the Knights. Now, 2 years later, Carly Keeney's back here at the complex with a little more firepower behind her. There's a grounder to short. Jennings is there. Will throw to first to retire Cody. And the Sooners are out away from their 43rd win and maintain at least a 1-game lead over Texas in the Big 12 standings, pending the Texas game against Iowa State. As Chloe Evans, who drove in the Knights' run back in the 5th, will step in. So we talked about what the Knights got to do, the process offensively and defensively. You're going to have a short memory about it, right?
Always have to have a short memory. I mean, these games are going to happen, and it was really just, again, the early reflection of what could I have done differently to maybe change our outcome.
Riley Ludlam, by the way, is catching as we expected after she pinch ran for Hansen as Chloe swings and misses. There's Ludlam, came over from Furman. Keeney with a 1-1 count to Chloe Evans. Fouled it back, and it's 1-2. Interesting to see what the pitchers will see tomorrow. Possibly Sarah Willis for the Knights, possibly Nicole May for Oklahoma, maybe Kirsten Deal. Could see multiple arms.
I was going to say, I have a feeling we may. Maybe pun intended.
Ball and 2 strikes. Chloe fouls it off. Hannah Core also in the game for the Sooners in right field. So it's both you Sooners kind of using some of their bench players here late, getting some experience. You're at Oklahoma's first game. There's Willis. We saw her hit earlier today. Will we see her pitch tomorrow? Should be fascinating. 2 o'clock tomorrow, we'll find out Saturday. 1-2. Evans drills one to deep right, and that is gone. See ya. Solo home run by Chloe Evans. As the Knights get within 10-2, 6th home run of the year for Chloe Evans. And her second RBI of the Knights. And of course, that's a good sign of your UCF to see Chloe Evans swinging a good bat after a tough weekend, couple of weeks scuffling a little bit. Her swing looks very good tonight.
Absolutely. Well, that pitch left right down the middle and behind in a 1-2 count, but that one, again, just too much over the white. Chloe Evans, senior leadership, good experience in the box, going to take advantage. Not going to miss the opportunity to get some barrel on the ball. Knights not going down without a fight.
115 hit of her UCF career. So it's 10-2. And again, that's got to give you some momentum, some positive energy. You're going to have some positivity going into tomorrow's game.
Have to. The short memory is going to be huge. And then, again, just knowing what could we do different tomorrow to maybe change our circumstance. And that's all the reflection you need.
9 hits tonight for the Knights against this top 5 pitching staff from Oklahoma. They've hit the ball well, had some opportunities, as we mentioned. Left 9 on base. Couple of errors. Can't do that, though, against a team like Oklahoma. Probably right now, with them in Texas, right now the 2 favorites for the national championship. Would not be surprised if we see the Oklahoma and Texas meet in Oklahoma City multiple times. Big 12 championship tournament and perhaps the World Series. Of course, other teams like Tennessee, Oklahoma State may have something to say about it. 3-0. And a walk here to Griffin. So Keeney has given up a home run and a walk here with 2 outs here in the 7th. And you mentioned Knights not giving up. Battling through the last out.
Now batting the
Shannon Doherty will come to the plate. If you're Patty Gasso in Oklahoma, what's your thoughts leaving this game? People might say, well, you won 10-2, please, but I'm sure there's things she will look at and talk to her team about to get them ready for tomorrow.
I think you're always looking at those reflective pieces, and if you're Patty Gasso, again, you look at the error column on the board, 3 errors on the night, so uncharacteristic for the OU defense. So again, just asking ourselves, how can we get better? How can we improve now so that that doesn't happen again?
Samantha Del Hoyo pinch running for Griffin. With now Doherty at the plate. 1 for 3 tonight for Doherty with a single. Keeney, first pitch. The strike 0-1. Have you liked the Knights' offensive approach here tonight?
I've liked the adjustments they've made. Like I said, I wanted to see those
You gotta make it sooner.
changes sooner,
Okay.
right? Exactly. Working deeper into counts, because I feel like when UCF gets themselves into good hitting counts, they're pretty successful.
Here's a grounder to short. Jennings will throw to first in time to end it. And the 3-time defending national champion Oklahoma Sooners take game 1 of this 3-game Big 12 series.